Are you conceding today, Mr. Hardeep Puri, that you have a foreign policy that has not been consistent? Lahore was followed by Kargil. Kargil was followed by Agra.
Yes.
Agra was followed by the attack on our parliament.
Yes.
Right?
And that has been followed by several meetings the Prime Ministers had in New York.
That was followed by Operation Parakram.
Yeah.
Operation Parakram by October 2002 had no outcome. A year later, the government entered into a ceasefire agreement with Pakistan. Why did you enter into a ceasefire agreement with Pakistan? Why were you showing showing extreme patience with Pakistan then?
That ceasefire.
Why were you showing extreme patience with Pakistan then, Mr. Puri? Answer me.
Let me answer you. If you will allow me,
yes, please.
The ceasefire has by and large held in the last 9 or 10 years, number one.
You gave them a long rope then.
But the ceasefire is still holding.
You gave them a long rope then.
Should not.
January 2004 Islamabad Composite Dialogue Declaration.
You gave them a long rope then, sir.
But you have to now, do you think by reopening talks after 9/11, you get any advantage? Till they bring the whole terror machine under control, there is no point talking. Whatever may have been the lessons of the past, today we have to learn that no purpose is going to be served by talking to them.
Okay, we are allowing a second counter coming to you from here. I don't understand where having biryani in Agra would have actually helped fighting terrorism.
No, biryani, Mr. Salman Khurshid had biryani with the visiting foreign minister in Ajmer. That is what I remember. I don't remember what was served in Agra.
I'll tell you what was served in Agra. I'll tell you what was served in Agra.
Yeah.
You allowed General Pervez Musharraf to walk all over the Indian establishment. That is what was served in Agra.
Well, we see today out here, and that's the thing about the national election debate. We are seeing a fiery attack from the UPA on the BJP today. I'm sure he's going to get back in equal measure because his record too, Mr. Tiwari. Despite his
Arnab Goswami, if you keep playing anchor and stop playing their advocate, I think we'll have a balanced debate.
Counter coming from Pavan Varma to the BJP.
I have a question to raise with both my good friend Hardeep and with Manish.
Yes, no, with Hardeep.
And I'll tell you with him, but he must listen carefully. I would request you. You see, foreign policy is not a matter only of partisan politics. India is in the world's most troubled neighborhood. We have 4,000 kilometers of disputed line of actual control with China. 778 kilometers disputed line of actual control with Pakistan. 15,000 kilometers of boundaries with 7 countries. And 7,500 kilometers of a coastline. There is endemic terrorism, there is internal instability, there is homegrown terrorism, there is externally sponsored terrorism. In this scenario, can we merely be happy by calling each other the kettle, calling the pot black? And I say this in the specific question, sir.
Yeah, directly to him.
Because 2 points were raised, but now just to illustrate this, you know, the most shameful episode in our foreign policy was our lack of anticipation of Kargil and subsequently the manner in which we handled it. Foreign troops entered the country. I'm not saying this name calling BJP or Congress, but BJP happened to be in government then. Foreign troops enter your country, you are not aware. They occupy vantage points. You know that to evacuate them, you lose 1,000 of your officers and soldiers. And after that dastardly act, you invite Mr. Pervez Musharraf to Agra, put him in the most expensive suite, to have a talk with him. Which self-respecting country does that?
No, what is the question?
So the question is that when you say that our foreign policy in the last 10 years has been particularly lacking focus, which I agree with, we must look on a longer range period to see where we have been falling short in this country on devising a foreign policy doctrine.
Mr. Varma, for 9 out of those 10 years, for 9 out of those 10 years, you were with the BJP.
Yeah. May I come in for a moment? That's
No, am I right?
Well, we'll come to that.
Am I
also.
right?
See,
Now you'll say don't make it political.
No, I said don't.
Arnab, 1 second.
Don't
Arnab,
take-
one
I
second.
think we-
Pavan, may I come in for a moment?
Sir, are you giving
Just
covering
because-
fire
No,
to
no,
the
I'm not
JP?
giving
No,
covering
he's
fire.
asked me a
I'm just trying to-
question. I'll just allow me.
And before
You see-
being
No, I haven't asked. I only observation. I
No,
was
even
making.
the observation merits a reply, although normally I would have ignored.
No, but you can. What's your question to him? He's still waiting for the question.
The questions I have asked. He hasn't grasped it.
Let him answer. Let him answer. Let him answer.
If I may
Let him
respond to your
let
question.
him respond.
Before he
Let him
responds.
No, let him
Larger
respond.
perspective.
No, let him
The
respond.
larger perspective
I have one more question
is-
before
may
he
I just come in
responds?
for a moment? The larger perspective is
can he answer the
that look
question?
at the case of Pakistan and the United States of America. See, the United States of America recognizes that Pakistan is the epicenter of terrorism. After all, Mr. Osama bin Laden was recovered in Abbottabad and not in Allahabad. But the US continues to talk and continues to engage Pakistan, while at the same point in time continues to put pressure.
Who's against engagement?
So therefore,
don't be taken for a ride.
Pavan, the point which Mr. Hardeep Puri was making, the point which Mr. Hardeep Puri was making, that the Prime Minister was absolutely wrong in engaging with Pakistan.
Nothing wrong in.
We engaged, but we never gave ground. You engaged, but you gave ground.
Come on, be serious. There is nothing wrong in engaging with Pakistan.
What's your question? Answer him.
No,
please.
I'm answering both of them in one go. Well, look, there is nothing wrong in engaging with Pakistan. In fact, my position is slightly more nuanced. In fact, you have no option but to engage Pakistan. Pakistan is your Western neighbor. It is a state which is under siege. It is a state which may be imploding. All the more reason you have to talk to Pakistan. But that issue is not to talk to Pakistan at the summit level. After the attack on Mumbai, 9/11, you had no option but to put pressure on Pakistan to rein in the terror machine. Instead of doing that, every few months, we want to raise the level of discussion to the level of the Prime Minister. Again, I see a report which says the Prime Minister wants to visit Pakistan in March. He can go there for sentimental reasons, to visit his village before he demits office. Our point I'm making is different. When you deal with Pakistan, deal with them at the professional level. If in the past we have dealt with them at summit level and we've been betrayed, Kargil, Agra, we should learn from those lessons and not repeat the same mistakes again. That is the benefit
Puri,
that history
Mr.
teaches
Puri,
us.
that's the
Number
Mr.
two,
Puri, that's the-
I
Mr. Puri,
entirely agree that we
Mr.
should
Puri,
not play partisan politics
Mr.
with
Puri,
Pakistan. But actually, please, what are we witnessing now? In the few months ago, when the Prime Minister was going to DC, there was this great desire by the Prime Minister and all those formulating foreign policy, including Mr. Manish Tewari, that he must have a meeting with his counterpart. What happened? Of course, he went ahead with the meeting in spite of advice from all others to the contrary. And of course, the Vice President of the party had changed the narrative meanwhile, and the discussion didn't. Is it worth your while having a meeting which is purely pro forma? My advice to dealing with Pakistan is leave them in no doubt that if they do not rein in the terror machine, and if we keep getting subjected to attacks by Pakistan-based terrorists, we will have nothing to do with them on substantive dialogue. Stop going back to Musharraf and other areas.
Mr. Minister, let the NC.
Let me draw the distinction, Mr.
Your time is up. Your time is up. Your
Let
time
me
is
draw
up.
the distinction. The distinction is you engaged with Pakistan, the NDA engaged
We are
with
discussing
Pakistan.
the UPS 10 years here.
I'm coming to that.
We can have a discussion on the
engaged
NDS
with
5 years.
Pakistan and conceded.
Soon
we
you'll have an
engaged with
opportunity to
Pakistan and
discuss
did
the
not
NDA.
concede. That's the difference.
Let me come in
You
for
conceded every time you engaged with
Another
Pakistan.
counter.
come on, we are
Hardeep
questioning
Puri.
the last 10 years.
Hardeep Puri is
What
taking
was
the next
Mr.
counter.
Vajpayee and Mr. Pervez
The
Musharraf
next
doing?
counter.
Were
The
they
next.
sort of kind of exchanging
The next-
pleasantries if they were not engaging with each other?
Well, I don't know. I don't know when there was the beheading of our soldiers in January 2013.
Yeah, what is
And
your position on beheading?
one
What is
minute.
your position on soldiers getting beheaded?
Arnab, just a second. You had allowed me. Arnab, you had allowed me
Well, I think you should bring it up and I'll answer it.
Okay, we have a counter to you coming this way, please.
Arnab, that's a problem with BJP. When they are in opposition, they take one stand. And when they are in government, the stand is just reverse to that. Just reverse. Believe you me.
But you're with them when
We
they're in
had
power.
Kargil attack.
When they're in
we
government,
had
you're with them.
Parliament attack. And despite that, and rightly so, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee continued. He never stopped negotiations with Pakistan, and rightly so. And we, people living in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, had the best possible effects of good relationship with Pakistan, as I said earlier. So when UPA does the same thing, it becomes a problem because they are in opposition. That's the problem.
So what's
now
your question
they
to
are
Mr.
going
Puri?
to an extent of even disowning Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee because he continued negotiations with Pakistan,
disowning?
and he
Who's
was quite
disowning
right in
anyone?
doing that.
Mr.
He
Atal
was
Bihari
quite right in
Vajpayee is
that.
our tallest leader. We wish him
But he's
a very
not-
speedy recovery. But where is the question of don't come up with formulation
No,
and
no,
then
no, I am
attribute
not
them to
coming
us.
up with formulation
Yeah.
because
They have
despite
got-
a
they have-
parliament attack,
Mr. Beig-
despite Kargil attack, he went on. He never stopped
Yes,
negotiating
because he's
with
a man.
Pakistan.
He's a man of
Mr.
peace,
Now you are
and he
They
tried
have
peace.
disowned him
But
in
learn
action.
from what
Maybe
happened in
not
our
thought.
time. Yeah.
They've disowned him in action, maybe not in thought.
Oh, come
So
on.
therefore,
Thank you for the clarification.
I join you in wishing him a speedy recovery, but I wish you had respected his legacy.
Well,
Absolutely.
I will now ask the audience. I will ask the audience at this stage of the debate. And how many minutes are we into? We're halfway through the debate. And I'm asking the audience that the subject is this. After 10 years of UPA, India's foreign policy needs an overhaul, which means if you agree with the subject, you are against the UPA's foreign policy record.
That's the wrong
How-
way of putting it.
Well, let me. I am a journalist, liable to my own way of interpreting things. After 10 years of the UPA, India's foreign policy needs an overhaul, a change. How many of you agree with the subject? Raise your hands. And how many of you disagree? How many of you are happy with the way the UPA's foreign policy has gone?
There's your answer.
None of you?
There's your answer. There's your answer.
Well,
There's your answer.
well, I would like to ask the audience. I would like to ask the audience
One sec.
that if at all you think that there is something wrong with the way we've conducted a foreign policy, I respect your judgment. But then tell me, what is the better way of doing it?
I can tell you.
What is the
Come here,
better
I'll
way
tell
of
you on
doing
their
it?
behalf.
In the sense that over the
I'll
past
tell you on
10
their
years,
behalf.
well, in the sense you, Mr. Hardeep Puri, they may be or may not be happy with us, but the fact is that they're definitely
You
not
better watch
satisfied with
out.
the
They
way
may
you
go
did
to
it.
Aam Aadmi Party. They may go to Aam Aadmi Party if they're not happy
Well,
with you.
if they go,
That's my
if
worry.
they-
Bigger worry. Yeah.
If they go to Aam Aadmi Party,
Yeah.
you will lose
And
the
then-
government.
then you will- then
if
you-
they go to Aam Aadmi Party, you will lose the government. You lost the government in Delhi.
Then they will be
You
doing
lost the
dharna
government
outside
in Delhi,
South
not
Block.
us.
And when they do
This is
dharna
the
outside
first-
South Block,
Now-
you're in trouble.
Wonderful,
Now,
wonderful.
calm down.
BJP on
Calm down,
record
calm down.
says
Now,
that
one
they
second.
will go to Aam
This is
Aadmi
the
Party.
I have at
BJP.
this
Wonderful.
at this stage
This
of the
is the
debate.
first
No,
public
one sec.
acknowledgement by the
I
BJP
think.
that
that
they
they
are
will go-
opposition
I-
to the Aam Aadmi Party. This is the first public acknowledgement.
Oh,
Please
come on,
clap.
come on, come on. Come on.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do at this stage of the debate is ask 4 questions to our 4 panelists, okay? And what happens in this kind of a debate is that unless we hold them to account, we will not get a firm answer. I have 4 questions. Your vote matters. The vote of every person watching this debate matters. Millions are watching this program, not just in India, but in 46 countries where this program is being beamed right now. I have 4 questions I will ask 4 panelists, and then you can interject. My first question is to the BJP. Sir, be clear with me. Yes or no? Is the BJP in favor of limited strikes on terror installations in Pakistan in the eventuality of a Pakistan-sponsored terror attack? You have 30 seconds or 1 minute to reply, then we'll rebut. Go ahead.
In my
Mr.
personal
Puri, take a
capacity,
position.
yes.
No, there is no personal capacity on this program.
on that you cannot answer a question on limited strikes out of context. You cannot. Limited strike is a very serious business and without knowing what the context is, no political party will take a position on this. After all, this is your sovereign territory, and someone else attacks you in terms of terrorism. Then, if you ask me, if I were an advisor, I would tell the government in power, if it was a terrorist attack of the kind that took place in Bombay, I would say, please consider that as an option, put it on the table. Beyond that, I'm not willing to
I
go.
repeat, there's no personal position on the program.
Well, then, as I said, nobody can answer that
May
question in a hypothetical sense.
I
I
Arnab.
only ask this. I ask this not in the context of my belief in the subject, but in the context of the muscularity that the BJP's foreign policy is believed to have.
Charles Atlas type of language of a gym, of a physical gym. Muscularity and robust, etc., are okay for literature students.
Really?
But here, when you are discussing serious national security, you cannot answer a hypothetical
Well,
situation.
I thought-
When, somebody does a terrorist
I
attack.
thought-
Well, my position is, if somebody attacks
I
my country,
thought-
I will give him a befitting response.
Well, I thought it
I will
will-
have to give him a
I-
befitting response,
I
but
thought-
I cannot do it
Mr.
on
Hardeep
behalf of
Puri,
someone
I thought
else.
Mr.
Mr.
Hardeep Puri-
Narendra Modi had that muscularity when he spoke about Pakistan.
You know what he
Mr.
said about
Narendra Modi
Pakistan?
had that
he
kind
said
of
India and Pakistan must work together to attack their common enemy, which
He
is
said,
poverty.
he said,
that is what
he
Mr.
said
Modi
the
said.
UPA government,
And this is what Mr.
he
Modi
said the UPA government, he said the UPA government has been absolutely lax in securing India's borders. He said, when will the centre wake up? He also said we remained weak when we needed to be strong.
These are correct statements.
Well, in all of those statements were not exactly lacking muscularity.
Yes, but he did not talk about carrying out limited strikes.
I have a specific
He did not
question to Mr.
talk
Puri.
about limited
A
strikes.
I have a
question.
specific question to Mr. Puri.
Yes,
Mr. Puri,
Manish.
I do hope that you respect Mr. Lal Krishna Advani in the same manner that you respect Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
Yes.
If you would recall that Mr. Lal Krishna Advani, before he came to government in 1998, used to talk about hot pursuit.
Yes.
Right.
His every other statement used to be of hot pursuit.
That's right.
When he became the Home Minister in 1998 and then again in 1999, why did you do a U-turn on hot pursuit? Forget limited strikes. You even gave up the position of pursuing terrorists into Pakistani territory, and here you are saying that it is my personal opinion that there should be limited strikes. So your party, as Mr. Beig was pointing out, tries to run with the hare and hunt with the hound.
Not
You
at
have
all.
one position in power and another position in opposition.
Are you going to
Not
disown
only that, Mr. Arnab.
Are you going to disown Mr. Advani?
Mr. Advani was
Yes,
Deputy
yes,
Prime
only one
Minister, the Home Minister of the country for many years. You judge him by what he did and what he said as Home Minister, not what he said when he was in opposition.
I'm asking you a specific question. Hot pursuit. Hot pursuit was one of the favorite muscular mantras of the hawkish foreign policy of the BJP in the 90s. Why did you abandon it when you came to government?
We are in 2000.
Why did you abandon it when you came to government?
We've had 10 years of complete weakness
Forget
in
our
foreign
10 years.
policy
I'll
from the
answer our
Congress.
10 years. You said
the issue-
limited strikes in your personal opinion.
Well, limited
But okay,
strike, no.
so you even abandoned hot pursuit. What you got in those last 10 years was that there was
They are
global
going
recognition
ahead
of the
and
fact.
raising the threshold. They're raising the threshold. They
What
kill
you got was
your
global
officers in the
recognition
embassy
that
in
Pakistan is a
Kabul. They
pariah
behead your
state, which you did
soldiers.
not
They
have.
attack
And that
Mumbai.
is the
The
success of our
threshold is going up.
diplomacy.
Okay,
What
And
is
you say
the
you
success
haven't
of our
said anything.
diplomacy?
What we have-
That
what
we were
we
able
have got-
to expose the true colors of Pakistan.
What